You are a plague doctor, and this is your whole life. You did not choose this. No one does. One day, they simply put the mask on you, and after that, you stop being a person. You become something else, a symbol of hope or death. You walk into places no one else dares to enter. Cities abandoned, streets empty, doors closed, windows watching. The air feels wrong, sweet, rotten, heavy. You hear coughing behind walls, under floors, somewhere close, always close. And sometimes you hear something worse, silence, in places where people should be. They tell you it is a disease. You believe them, because if it is not, then it is something far worse. You carry herbs inside your mask. They say it protects you. They say it cleans the air. They say many things. You stop listening, because none of it changes what you see. You enter your first house, dark, quiet. The smell is stronger here. It clings to everything. You move slowly, step by step. You find a body, then another, then another. They are all lying still, like they are sleeping, but their eyes are open, and they are staring, not at you, through you. You pause, just for a second, because something feels wrong. Not the death. You are already getting used to that. Something else. Something you cannot name. But you keep moving, because thinking means breaking. And you learn quickly. You have to. You examine. You cut. You write. You record everything. You tell yourself this matters. You tell yourself you are helping, that you are fighting it, that you are not just watching people die. Sometimes someone survives. Rare, uncertain, but enough. Enough to keep you going, enough to justify everything. Because if even one person lives, then all of this means something. At least, that is what you tell yourself. The days blur together. One house, then another, always the same smell, the same silence, the same eyes, watching, waiting, understanding something you do not. And slowly, you begin to notice a pattern. Before they die, they all become calm, too calm. No panic, no resistance, just acceptance. Like they already know, like they are expecting it. And sometimes they look at you, not with fear, not with hope, with something else, recognition. And that's what unsettles you the most, because you do not understand why. You are here to help. You are here to stop this. You are here to fight it. That is what you were told. That is what you believe. That is what you need to believe. Because without that, there is nothing left. You leave another house, step back into the empty street. The weight of it follows you, the weight of it pressing against your chest. You adjust your mask, breathe through the herbs, through the filters, through whatever is supposed to protect you. You tell yourself it is working. You tell yourself you are safe. You tell yourself you are needed. And for now, that is enough. Because if you stop believing that, everything falls apart.
Something begins to change. Not around you, in you. At first, it is small, easy to ignore. Just a feeling, a delay, a hesitation that was never there before. You continue your work because that is what you do. That is what you are. People still need you, or at least they believe they do. You enter another house, this time earlier than usual. The air is lighter, not clean, but not yet filled with death. The people inside are alive, weak, barely moving, but alive. They see you, and something shifts. Not relief, not hope. They move away from you, slowly, like you are something dangerous. You pause. That never happened before. You approach one of them, a man, thin, shaking, barely holding on. You kneel beside him. You reach for him, and suddenly he grabs your hand, hard, stronger than he should be. His eyes lock onto your mask. "Don't stay," he whispers. You lean closer. "What?" His grip tightens. "You bring it." You pull your hand away, immediately, too quickly. Your heart starts beating faster. It is delirium. You have seen it before. They say strange things before they die. It means nothing. It has to mean nothing. You stand up. You continue your work. But now you are watching differently. You finish your examination. You leave, and you wait, just for a while, longer than usual. You stay outside. You listen. Time passes. Then the coughing starts, stronger, worse, and then silence. Again, the same silence. You return the next day. They are all dead. Every single one. You feel something shift inside you. You move on. Another house, another patient, another visit. And again, you arrive, you examine, you leave, and within hours, they die. Every time, no exceptions. At first, you try to ignore it. You tell yourself it is coincidence, timing, inevitability. They were already dying. You were just there to witness it. But then, you start counting. You keep track. 1 house, 2, 5, 10. Always the same pattern. You arrive, and death follows. You stop in the middle of the street. The world feels quieter than before, heavier. You reach for your mask, slowly, carefully, and for the first time in a long time, you take it off. The air hits your face. You breathe in. Nothing changes. It is not cleaner, not worse, just air. The same air. You look at the mask in your hands, the beak, the herbs, the filters, everything that was supposed to protect. And a thought appears, quiet, sharp, impossible to ignore. What if it is not the air? What if it was never the air? What if it is you? You freeze, because the moment you think it, you cannot unthink it. You put the mask back on, quickly, almost violently. No, that is not possible. You are helping. You are saving people. You are necessary. Without you, they would die faster. You repeat it, again and again and again. But now, it sounds weaker. You enter another house, and this time, you hesitate. Not out of fear, out of doubt. You stand at the door, just for a second, long enough to feel it. What if walking in changes everything? You step inside anyway, because you have no choice, because this is your life. A woman looks at you. Her eyes are clear, too clear. She studies you, and then she says quietly, "It's already too late." You stop, because you understand. She is not talking about herself, and deep down, you know she is right.
You stop going inside. Not completely. Not at first. You just wait. You stand at a distance, far enough to feel safe, close enough to see, to know, to understand. You watch the house. Hours pass. Nothing changes. The people inside are still alive, weak, struggling, but alive. You come back the next day, still alive, the same coughing, the same pain, but not death. Not yet. Your chest tightens, because this has never happened before. You take a step back, then another, as if distance itself is the answer, as if space can undo what you've done. You return again. You stay outside. You do not enter. You do not touch. You do not breathe near them. And they live. Longer than they should. Longer than anyone else did. And that is when it breaks. The illusion. The belief. The thing you held on to for so long. You were not helping. You were not saving them. You were ending it. Faster. Cleaner. You feel your legs weaken. You step back again, but this time it feels different. Not like retreat, like escape from yourself. You look at your hands, covered in gloves, protected, separated, and yet never clean. You remember every house, every door, every body, every pair of eyes. And now they all look the same, not victims of a disease, victims of you. You drop to your knees. The ground is cold, but you barely feel it because something inside you collapses, something you cannot rebuild. You try to remove the mask. Your fingers reach for it, slowly, carefully. But when you pull, nothing happens. It does not move. You try again, harder, faster. Your breath becomes uneven. Your hands shake. But the mask stays, as if it is no longer something you wear, as if it is something you are. You stop, because suddenly you hear something. Footsteps. Behind you. You turn slowly, and you see them. More figures, standing in the distance, still, silent, watching you. They wear the same mask, the same shape, the same hollow eyes. Plague doctors, like you. One of them steps forward, calm, slow, as if there is no urgency, as if there never was. "You figured it out," he says. His voice is quiet, flat, almost empty. You try to speak, but nothing comes out. Your throat feels dry. Your voice feels gone. He tilts his head slightly. "Don't worry," he continues. "It doesn't change anything." You stare at him, trying to understand, trying to reject it, trying to deny it, but you cannot, because you already know. "Why?" you finally force out. The word barely exists, barely audible, but he hears it. They all do. "Because without us," he says, "no one comes." You look back at the house, at the people inside, still alive, still suffering, still waiting, and something inside you twists because you understand what he means. Without you, they don't die immediately. They suffer, they fade, they linger for days, weeks, maybe longer, alone, unseen, unhelped. You look at your hands again, then at the mask, then at them, the others, standing like shadows, like a system, like something that has always been there. You realize this was never about stopping the plague. It was about controlling it, containing it, giving it form, giving it order. And you are part of that order. You feel something worse than fear, acceptance, not because you want it, because you have no choice. You cannot remove the mask. You cannot undo what you are. You cannot go back. The figure steps closer. "Tomorrow," he says, "you will go to another city." You don't respond. You don't need to, because you already know. You will, because that is what you do. That is what you are. You look one last time at the house, at the people who are still alive, because you stayed away. And for a moment, you consider it, walking away, leaving, breaking the cycle. But then, you imagine what comes next, the waiting, the suffering, the slow decay, without end, without pattern, without mercy. And that is when you understand the worst truth of all. You are not saving them, but without you, it becomes something worse, something slower, something crueler. You stand up, slowly. Your body feels heavier, but more certain, because now there is no illusion left, no lies, no hope, only function, only purpose, only inevitability. You are a plague doctor, and this is your whole life.
The next day comes. Of course it does. It always does. You walk again. Same road, different city. Or maybe not. They all feel the same now. Empty. Waiting. You no longer rush. You no longer hesitate. You simply move, step by step, because this is what remains. Not purpose, not belief, function. You arrive at the gates. No guards, no resistance. Just silence. The kind you know too well. You enter. The streets are not empty this time. People are still here. Weak. Watching. Hoping. They see you. And everything changes.
The same reaction, the same shift. They step back. Some close their doors. Some just stare. And in their eyes, you see it. They don't know yet, but something inside them does. You walk forward, slow, unstoppable. You stop at the first house. Your hand rests on the door. And for a moment, you feel it again. That thought, the one that never fully leaves. What if you don't go in? What if you walk away? What if you let them live longer? You stand there, still, silent. The world waits with you. And then, you open the door. Because you already know the answer. Inside, the air is heavy, not yet filled with death, but close, very close. A woman looks at you, young, barely breathing. Her eyes search your mask, not afraid, not confused, understanding. You came, she whispers. You do not respond, because there is nothing left to say. You step closer. You begin your work. The same movements, the same routine. But now, you see it differently. You see the moment, the exact moment, when everything changes. Not when they die, when you arrive. Something shifts, invisible, unseen, but real. And once it starts, it never stops. You finish, you leave, and you do not look back, because you already know what comes next. Hours later, they will be gone. The pattern continues. House after house, street after street. You move through them like a shadow, not stopping, not questioning, not resisting, because resistance no longer exists. Only repetition, only inevitability. And somewhere deep inside, something settles. Not peace, not acceptance, something colder, something final. You are not a healer. You are not a killer. You are part of something larger, something that does not need your permission, something that does not care what you believe. You reach the center of the city, the square. People gather, watching you, waiting, and you realize something. They always do this. They always gather, not because they understand, because they feel it. The end. They need to see it. They need to face it. You stand there, in the middle of them, and for the first time, you do nothing. You simply exist, and that is enough, because the moment you arrived, it already began. You look around, at their faces, at their fear, at their hope, and you understand something completely. They were never waiting for a cure. They were waiting for an end. And you give it to them. Faster, cleaner, predictable. That is your role. That is your function. That is your life. The sun begins to fall. Shadows grow longer. And one by one, they start to disappear. Back into their homes. Back into the silence. Back into what comes next. You remain. Until the city is quiet again. And then, you turn. And you walk. Toward the next place. Because there is always another city.
always another door, always another beginning. And somewhere, in another place, someone will see you, and they will feel it. The same thing, the same understanding. Too late. Always too late. You are the plague doctor, and this is your whole life. Not because you chose it, because it never needed you to. And no matter how far you go, no matter how much you understand, it does not end. It continues through you, because you are no longer just a man. You are the pattern, and the pattern never stops.